Hello and welcome to Sadhana World Foundation. You know, we care about crafting young lives. We present stories drawn from the lessons in history and mythology which are anchored on moral values. We think that these stories contain significant amount of moral teachings which our young children and adults can inculcate in their lives and become stronger and better human beings. We have been talking about leadership. We spoke about the leaders have to demonstrate integrity, have to demonstrate consistency in their moral standards. We spoke about leaders to become visionary, to be adaptable, to be resilient. Leadership doesn't stop with these five qualities, there are many more. Today we will talk about the sixth dimension, which is about being self confident. Think of the people, think of the leaders that we respect in our minds. You will discover that all of them were extremely self-confident. Think of the Hindu mythology, Lord Hanuman. We respect, we have tremendous amount of affection towards Lord Hanuman because he demonstrates leadership throughout his journey in the epic Ramayana. He takes up tasks, he takes up challenges which he has never done in the past. Somebody tells him that you can do it and nobody else can, and these challenges have to be overcome. He says, let me give it a try, and he does it successfully. Think of the Mahabharata, where the two sides, one side has the Kauravas have got tremendous amount of resources, power, a huge number of forces, and the Pandavas who were struggling for resources. Yet the Pandavas believed that they were on the side of the goodness, side of being right, and hence they faced the Kauravas who had tremendously huge amount of unparalleled amount of strength and resources compared to the Pandavas. Pandavas demonstrated self-confidence that they can make it, and they knew that this is a challenge, they have to take it. If they don't take it, it's going to be disaster for them. They took it, they won it. Think of the Greek mythology. Achilles, who is one of the central heroes in the Greek mythology. In the Trojan War, Achilles doesn't join the war right in the beginning because of a misunderstanding and because of certain conflict. But he loses one of his dear friends and he then joins the war and he takes revenge by defeating and killing the commander-in-chief of the Trojans, which is Prince Hector. And of course, he faces tremendous amount of resistance and he demonstrates his power, his strength, his wisdom, his wit all through the war. Of course, he falls in the war, but he is still respected because he was so self-confident. So this establishes the point beyond doubt that the leaders that we respect are the people, all of them demonstrate tremendous amount of self-confidence. Think of modern history. Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple Computers, the revered business person, technocrat, and whatnot. 2010, he introduces iPad. Tablet computer is not new to the humankind. In fact, tablets were introduced in 1985 or 83 or 87, around that period of time by different companies. As a concept, people have been talking about it for a long time. People spoke about personal computers had to be like notebooks. Many companies introduced, however, people did not like the product which came in the market. There are large companies, including Apple Computers themselves, Microsoft, Nokia, and many other companies introduced tablet computers. Yet all of them failed. It's a period of 27 years since 1983 to 2010. And after a gap of 27 years, Steve Jobs stands up and says that I have a new idea of this tablet computer and let's introduce iPad. And all of us know in the last 13 years, millions of pieces of iPads have been sold, and there are many rivals of Apple computers who have introduced iPad-like products, and many people are using the tablet. It has all changed because of one man's self-confidence that it would work. In 2007, he introduced iPhone. In 2001, he introduced the iPod. In 1997, when the company was in the brink of bankruptcy, he negotiates a deal with Bill Gates of Microsoft, his biggest rival at that point in time, to attract 150 million worth investments into Apple computers, and Apple computers became a stronger rival with Microsoft, and the world has changed because of that investments. Think of a situation when a company is going down and the founder goes and strikes a deal with his rival and gets an investment from them. All of these incidents are, of course, well published, well researched and written in the media. All of us know about it. I think as a person, Steve Jobs was so self-confident. So what helps all of us to become self-confident? I think there are three things that all of us need to really consciously do to become self-confident. Firstly, we have to discover our strength and play to our strength. I think Steve Jobs did that, Hanuman did that, and every other leader that we respect, they have discovered their strength and they have played to their strength. The second, they have surrounded themselves with people, and they have lived in an environment which was extremely positive. They energized themselves, they enthused themselves, they said to themselves that they can make it, they can do it. The Pandavas believed that they can make it. They did not really worry about the faults that lied within them, about the weaknesses the army of the Pandavas had. They did not worry about the strength that the Kauravas had. And thirdly, it's about taking risks and facing challenges. All of them took risks, faced challenges. Of course, some of them will not be able to succeed, like Achilles died in the war. Steve Jobs wasn't successful every time he introduced a product. Or the Pandavas did not succeed in each of their attempts. I looked at chapter number 16 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, which is a spiritual text which guides us how to lead our lives. Lord Sri Krishna describes 26 noble qualities that all of us must cultivate to become a stronger and better human being. I tried to find some correlation between these three factors and the 26 qualities which are mentioned there. I picked up a few from those 26, and I could see a strong correlation between some of these and these three things which help us become self-confident. I felt the first one is about operating from a body of knowledge, which he says Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti, which means that you stay rooted to the path of knowledge. You discover your strength, you play to your strength. That is Jnana Yoga Vyavasthiti in my mind. Second, it's about fortitude, which means that which is dhriti, which means that I stay rooted in my belief and I cultivate that continuously. I persevere that path. And thirdly, it's about controlling one's senses, which is dhamma. Many a time, while we are facing challenges, we are facing obstacles in our life, we will face failure, we will face frustration, we will face disappointment. That time is the moment of weakness. How do we deal with it? Controlling our senses. Our mind gets gripped with various kind of emotions. Can we control them? That's the third thing. Fourth, which is achapalam, which means lack of fickleness. I stay focused. I stay focused on my belief, on the path that I have committed. Think of all the leaders that you respect in your mind. You'll see that all of them were focused on one particular path. The core belief that they had was very strong in their mind, and they were not moving here and there from that path of belief. They lived their life around that belief. And finally, the fifth one is fearlessness, which is abhayam. If I am fearful about the moves that I make, then I can never be a leader. If I am scared of the failure, I can never be a leader. Forget about being a great leader. So, ladies and gentlemen, my dear young children who are watching this, these are 5 great qualities that if we cultivate them right from our childhood, our days of youth, we can become self-confident souls, and we will become strong leaders like the mythological characters in this story that we heard, and about great leaders like Steve Jobs that we just heard about. Thank you very much for spreading these lovely lessons that are pretty much available around us. Thank you for watching.